allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And welcome to those watching at home. Quick introductions: David Haas, Eric Wolver, June Butler, Frank Razizi, Sue Horton, DJ Goyer, and Katie Powers. All right, at the last meeting we started to talk about the revision in the fee schedule for planning and zoning. We initially were looking at a resolution, but what we needed to do was go through with a local law. Nothing has changed as far as what we're presenting, but we just have to come out, as I said, with the local law to make it effective and efficient. Transfer. Comments, public hearing on that? Okay, do we have a motion to close the public hearing for local law number 1 regarding fee schedule change for planning and zoning? Thank you very much. June 2nd. All those in favor of closing the public hearing? Anyone opposed? Anyone abstaining? Thank you very much. Unfortunately, legal representation is not here tonight. He's home sick in bed. That's why he knows not here. Excuse me for not saying that. Audit committee, David, please.
The audit committee has reviewed the bills and found them sufficient to be paid.
Thank you very much, David. Do I have a motion to accept the report of the audit committee? Thank you. Frank, you got it? Thank you. All those in favor of the audit committee report?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Anyone abstaining? 5-6-0. Thank you. Next session of tonight's meeting is the public comment period. We ask that if you care to speak, come up to the podium, and keep it civil and directed to the board. We ask that you do not cross talk on the floor. Anyone care to come up to the public comment period? Wow, okay. Thank you very much. All right, next item up, we have Sue's town board minutes from March 13th. Has everyone had a chance to review them? Any questions or any comments? Do I have a motion to accept?
I'll make a motion.
Thank you very much, Frank. I'll second. All those in favor of accepting the town clerk minutes from our March 13th, 2025 town board meeting?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Anyone abstaining? 5-6-0. Okay, correspondence. I received a brief email from Ambrose Electric, who are putting the standby power generator in for us, and that we're looking at approximately April 30th. He did have a conversation with Jim Legenbauer prior to reaching out to me, and I put calls back in, and he had talked to Mr. Legenbauer, and Mike Goldstein from Ambrose Electric will be coming tomorrow to take a quick look-see. We just had a concern regarding the oil tank removal prior to this going on, but Mr. Legenbauer and Chip Cronow thought that we can do a temporary with 200-gallon propane tanks and wait for the weather to get a little better before we cut the heating off for a day or two here at Town Hall. So the power generator we put in, and then we'll make a switch on the heating unit back in May sometime when the weather is nicer, and people here won't have to worry about catching frostbite. So, but that was the extent of Mr. Stein's little email, and that's what we have. Next item up, liaison. This is gonna be a quick one too, David. Okay, planning board meetings were canceled. Zoning board meetings were canceled. Fire company, please. Anybody? Thank you, Dan.
Evening. For the month of March, we responded to 30 alarms. 21 of them were emergency medical service related calls, not inclusive of motor vehicle accidents. We did have 1 motor vehicle accident, 2 power lines down, 1 fire alarm activation, 2 structure fires, hazardous condition. And we had 2 dispatched and canceled en route calls. Calls from January 1st to March 31st, total 86, with 56 of those being emergency medical service related calls. We want to thank the Hudson Taconic Lands, formerly the Plateau Alliance. They have reached out, we reached out to them and aiding with us for working with them with potential search and rescue on the lands up there, that because we have increased public access up there. And they purchased for us what they call a Mule 2 kit that goes, it's a big, like a giant big wheel that goes underneath our stretcher. And it aids in removing injured parties off of wildland. It's able to bring the stretcher over top of rocks and logs and things of this nature, and greatly alleviates fatigue, manpower issues of trying to carry an individual out, especially where motorized transportation is either impossible or will actually cause injuries to an injured party. Carrying someone out of the woods is a very laborious endeavor. This particular kit now snaps onto the bottom of our stretcher and enables us to be able to effectively carry that individual. They're not cheap. They're well over $1,000, and they agreed and they purchased that for us. And we're going to be, when the weather gets a little nicer, and when we start having that S word coming down, we're going to be getting up and we'll be doing some active training. We'll invite everybody to come up and get an idea of how this piece of equipment works. So we're much appreciative for that endeavor, a joint venture of working with the Hudson Taconic Lands. Just to remind everybody that we have a burn ban is in effect. I believe it's in effect to May 14th. All right, and that is a statewide ban. If you notice the gravity of the amount of wildfires that have been happening across the country, just out west, it's not immune to out with California. In New York State, we've had a number of wildfires. There's wildfires currently going on across the entire country. New York State is not immune to them. We do have a statewide burn ban in effect, and I remind everybody that to obey with that, and that if you do decide to burn and someone calls, the fire department will respond. Will be forced to put it out, or have them put it out. It is out of our hands, and many times the ranger self-dispatches. It's not uncommon to have a New York State Ranger or a DEC officer respond when they hear these calls go out, and they will issue tickets. So prevention of that, don't burn during the burn ban. Greatly appreciated, because we don't like having to go up and do that stuff. So no burning during the burn ban. I have nothing else, and thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you very much for this. Abby Wood, please. Thank you very much.
I'm Kathy Place from the library, and last month was another good month for us. We had 19 kids at the Lego Club. That meets every month on the first Wednesday of the month. We do a thing called Bat Boxes, which is for teens. It's a combination of books and other items related to the books to encourage the teens to want to do more reading, and those continue to be very popular. We had 10 attendees at our book club, which is the first Thursday of the month, every month at 6 p.m. Coming up in April, we are doing an event on April 15th, which is with the Rensselaer County Career Center to help people who are looking for jobs. We have a STEM project coming up on Wednesday the 16th, where kids will be able to make their own wildflower seed bombs and seed bomb launchers. May 5th, you may have seen the sign outside already. That's going to be Market Day, which is when we have our used book sale and raffles, and it's our primary fundraiser, so mark your calendars for that. We have a program called Let's Dish, which does different food-related items. That's coming up on May 8th, and we also, in the month of May, are going to have on the 21st, a session on answering all your estate planning questions. Okay, we're also currently accepting applications for our Clement Memorial Scholarship. Those applications are due by May 31st. And we've made a minor change to the way we handle requested items. When you come into the library and we don't have what you want, you can request it from any one of the other libraries in the system. Prior to this, we were telephoning everyone. Now what we're doing is we're sending an email or an automated phone call or an email, which is helping us as far as not having the staff to make the phone calls. That lets you know when your items are there to be picked up. That's it. Any questions?
I'd like to have a repeat on the date of the yard sale.
Saturday, May 3rd,
Okay, thank
from
you.
9 to noon. Anything else? Thank you.
Kathy, I'm sorry, 2 questions. Market Day was what day?
The 3rd, May 3rd.
Yeah, okay, thank you. I bet I wrote it fast. Thank you very much, Kathy. Thank you for your report. Okay, next item up, Youth Advisory Committee. Youth Department is still accepting summer camp registrations. We have about 15 to 20 slots open per week. And Kara will be posting for job interviews for counselors at the end of April. Easter egg hunt is scheduled for this Sunday. We are on the hunt for someone to dress up as the Easter Bunny.
You're it now. No, you can't volunteer me, I'm here.
Damn it.
Anybody missing?
There
There he is.
Okay, he's got it. All right, he'll be happy to see him out there. Okay. But that's what we have. We have a complete Easter Bunny costume now, right? Yes, okay. Conservation Advisory Council, Greg was unable to make it tonight. He did give us, I'm sorry, did I cut somebody off? No, okay. Greg did give us an end of the year report for our review, and that's what we have. Okay, discussion items. First item up, revision of the planning and zoning board fees. Any comments from board members or thoughts? Okay. Next item up is the upcoming ambulance info sessions. And these are going to have one next Thursday at the firehouse down here. You're gracious enough to allow us to come in and meet. It has been advertised on social media, which we appreciate. And also the firehouse sign is up and notifying residents of this meeting. And then on the following Wednesday, the 23rd, we are going to have a session at the Poestenkill East Poestenkill Baptist Church. Reverend was gracious enough to talk with his board of trustees, and they agreed to allow us to come in and have it that Wednesday night, so as to be accessible to people up on the hill. It says both sessions start at 7 o'clock, and we encourage people to come out and listen. Craig from Sand Lake Ambulance will be there, along with Dr. Hayashi, to answer questions. Next item up on the discussion items is town position appointment of Keith Hankel as water manager and 811 dig safe responder. Keith is with us, sitting in the back next to Chuck. Comments or anything from the board? Okay, thank you very much. Okay, now we move into action items. First item up is the approval of local law number 1 for 2025, the revision of the current fee schedule for is listed planning and zoning services, zoning board services. We can split it. Sure. Yeah, okay, we can split it.
Okay.
All right. Amending the code, Town of Poestenkill Planning Board Fee Schedule, Chapter 128 Fees. Fee type, building development permits. Installation, photovoltaic system, now up to $150 for roof mounted system. Solar heated, and $250 for ground mounted system. Planning and zoning applications, minor subdivision, $100 for the first new lot, and newly created lots only, $200 for each additional new lot created. Major subdivisions, newly created lots only, $500 for each new lot created. Site plan review, with no SUP required, due with application for preliminary site plan review is $200. Lot line adjustments, not including resolution of boundary line disputes between adjoining owners, which requires no town involvement. 2 lots, $100. 3 or more lots, $100 each new lot. Driveway permits, $25. Generator inspection, $50.
Zoning Board of Appeals actions, request for interpretation, $50. Application for use variance, $100. Application for area variance, $100. Establishment of types of special use permits in land districts. Special use permits required by 150-42A3 or uses specified in District Schedule of Use Regulations, Town of Poestenkill, Chapter 150 of this code are hereby categorized by type as listed in the following table for the purposes of assigning the amount fee required for each type of special use permit. The commercial solar has gone to a type 5. Section 2, if any clause, paragraph, subdivision, section, or other part of this local law shall be for any reason be adjudged by any court of competent jurisdiction to be unconstitutional or otherwise invalid, such judgment shall not affect, impair, or invalidate the remainder of this local law, and it shall be construed to have been the legislative intent to enact this local law without such unconstitutional or invalid part therein. This local
Section, thank you very much, June. Section 3, effective date. This local law shall take effect immediately upon filing in the office of the Secretary of State of the State of New York or on April 14, 2025, whichever occurs last. Final adoption by local legislative body only. I hereby certify that the local law amended hereto designated as local law number 1 of 2025 of the Town of Poestenkill was duly passed by the Town Board on April 30, 2025, in accordance with the applicable provisions of the law. I hereby certify that I have compared the preceding local law with the original on file. Comments? Okay, do I have a motion? Roll call, please. Thank you.
Councilman Butler,
Yes.
Councilman DeZuzi, Yes. Councilman Haas,
Yes.
Councilman Wildberg,
Yes.
Supervisor Russell.
Yes, please. Okay. Next item up is a vote to accept the winning bid to replace the Rikers Farm Road Bridge culvert. And that is resolution number 8 for 2025.
This document put in a dollar amount, do you have that?
650,000.
It's right in there.
It is in there?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, I didn't see it.
Thank you.
Yeah, sure.
Thank you, Frank.
Resolution number 8, 2025, in the matter of the requests for proposals for Rikers Farm Bridge culvert replacement. Whereas the town board of the town of Poestenkill solicited sealed proposals from construction companies for work on the Rikers Farm Bridge culvert replacement, whereas the project was posted as a formal bid to the New York State contractor order for a three-week period, as well as inventory record. Whereas all bids received were opened and read aloud on the date and time advertised in the notice. Whereas the town board recommends that the bid be awarded to James H. Malloy Inc. of Loudonville, New York for $650,000, consistent with such terms as stated in the attached Town of Poestenkill's request for proposal and the attached James H. Malloy of Loudonville, New York proposal. And it is further ordered and resolved that David Goyer, Town Highway Superintendent for the Town of Poestenkill, is authorized to enter into a contract with James H. Malloy Inc. of Loudonville, New York, contract to repair the Rikers Farm Bridge culvert for the Town of Poestenkill, consistent with such terms as stated in the Town of Poestenkill's request for proposal and James H. Malloy, Loudonville, New York proposal. We'll offer this resolution.
I'll second.
Thank you very much, Frank. Sure. All those in favor? I'm sorry, roll.
Councilwoman Butler,
Yes.
Councilman Brzee,
Yes.
Councilman Haas,
Yes.
Councilman Wallaber.
Yes.
Supervisor Russell.
Yes, please.
I'll do the same.
Thank you very much, guys.
Excuse me. Yeah. For a moment.
Please. Thank you for coming to the podium.
Ken Chipson, I live on Record Farm Road. I own the Record Farm where this gentleman's mom was born. Just the first comment I'd like to make is, again, the last time I was here, I wanted to thank DJ for his effort in trying to get grants for this project. Unfortunately, we, the town, and DJ weren't not successful in getting the grants. But again, he tried a number of times, and I think he ought to be recognized for that. All right. The second thing is, I've spoken with a number of my neighbors, and this is a neighbor here. The bridge is going to be the same 2 lanes as the rest of the road. I've looked at the plans. I have a copy of them. The concern that we have, and it's not about the safety of the bridge, but one of the problems we have on Rikers Farm Road is speeding. And I'm not sure, if the bridge is going to actually increase that problem, since it's going to be a lot wider. And I'm not really sure what anybody can do about that. And the other concern that some of the neighbors voiced to me is the fact that there's a lot of vacant land at the end of Rikers Farm Road that's currently owned by 2 farmers in the town that, well, they're not farming anymore. The neighbors are worried about development up there and additional traffic. And the speeding and traffic is of particular concern to me because my front porch is literally 12 foot off the road. And just to let you know how bad it was, or can be, county waste went up the road this week, had to be doing 50, 55 miles an hour, to the point where I called county waste about it, that the truck was going that fast. Just a concern. I don't know what we can do. I know DJ has gone to the state to get the speed limit lowered from 35 to 30, and I appreciate that. I'm hoping maybe, DJ, we can get more than 1 sign.
Speed limit sign?
Huh?
Speed limit sign?
Yes.
Yeah, we can put more up. We haven't heard back from the state yet regarding the study. I don't believe they've even come out and done the field study
Yeah,
yet.
I understand that. but,
Takes time, unfortunately, with them. So,
I understand that, but if we could get a couple more signs,
yeah, that's no problem.
and you're more than welcome to put one on my property if that's one of the spots you want to put it.
Yeah,
So, but again, thanks for all your effort.
no problem.
And thank you very much for coming and speaking. If I may say something, I'd like to compliment DJ for the phenomenal job he did putting this together and persevering, and it paid off. We had great results. But compliments to DJ, and thank you very, very much.
He's a good guy.
He's more than that.
Don't tell too many people.
Tom, can I make a comment about the bridge as well?
A quick comment?
Quick comment. Yeah, I would like to give support to what you and Ken just said to the, my concern here is that seeing as how the replacement bridge, I presume is going to go in the general location of the original bridge, and that there is a line of sight consideration there. Can you give me some information as to whether that shale bank to the north side is going to be trimmed back and improve the line of sight?
Some of that will be, yeah.
Okay,
Some
thank
of
you.
that will be. Not all of it, though.
Thank you, gentlemen. Thank you very much.
Resolution number 9, resolution appointing Keith Hankel as water manager effective immediately. Whereas the town of Poestenkill requires a qualified and experienced individual to manage its water resources and ensure the efficient and effective operation of the town's water system. And whereas Keith Hankel possesses the necessary qualifications, experience, and skills to effectively serve as a water manager. And whereas the town board has determined that the appointment of Keith Hankel as water manager is in the best interest of the town. Now that therefore be resolved that the town board of the town of Poestenkill, New York, hereby appoints Keith Hankel as water manager effective immediately. Let it further be resolved that the water manager shall be responsible for the management and operation of the town's water system, including but not limited to the following duties: overseeing the water treatment operations, managing water distribution, ensuring compliance with regulations, and 811 dig safe responder. Be it therefore resolved that the water manager shall report directly to the town supervisor. Be it further resolved that this resolution shall take effect immediately upon its adoption. I so move.
One second. Councilwoman Butler?
Yes.
Councilwoman Butler. Councilman Brzee?
Yes.
Councilman Haas?
Yes.
Councilman Wallaber?
Yes.
Supervisor Russell?
Yes, please. Thank you for your patience with me. Thank you very much. Vote to approve resolution authorizing Poestenkill to enter into renewal of the insurance contract with Gallagher Insurance Company. Ian put this resolution together because of the size of the package with Gallagher. He thought it would just be proper to make sure we put an official vote on it. And that's why we have the resolution in front of us tonight. Resolution number 10 of 2025. Resolution authorizing the town of Poestenkill to enter into renewal of an insurance contract with the Gallagher Insurance Company. Whereas the town of Poestenkill requires adequate insurance coverage to protect its assets and liabilities. Whereas the town of Poestenkill has determined that it is in the best
That
interest.
first slide are 261 reasons why our country is.
So we're not
In the best-
trying to shut it off.
In the best interest to enter into an insurance renewal contract with Gallagher Insurance Company for comprehensive property, liability, and automobile coverage, vehicle coverage, excuse me. Now therefore be it resolved that the town of Poestenkill is hereby authorized to enter into an insurance renewal contract with Gallagher Insurance Company for comprehensive property, liability, and automobile coverage. and be it further resolved that the town supervisor is hereby authorized to execute the insurance contract on behalf of the town of Poestenkill, and be it further resolved that the insurance premiums shall be paid from the town's general fund. The agreement is formed by Ian H. Silver. Put the motion forward. Anyone care to second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Eric.
Councilwoman Butler,
Yes.
Councilman Borzais,
Yes.
Councilman Haas,
Yes.
Councilman Oliver,
Yes.
Supervisor Russell.
Yes, please. Thank you, one and all. Okay, next item, we have the reports, and we will be brief on these. Okay, I had the privilege of attending the fire company meeting and library meeting this past month. There was no planning or zoning board to attend to, so not much of social activity was shot. Ambulance service, had the privilege of talking with Dan and Joel and Dave. They came before us and talked. And then also some local town residents in reference to their thoughts on it. I had interviews with water manager, and Keith was gracious enough to come forward. Had also been up to Creekside Kennel, further discussions. They're getting their house together up there, and they hope to be back to us sometime in June. He's on going out of town for a month or so with dog shows, etc. And he'll be back, and we'll be talking about using Creekside as a backup for Bob Geyer if he needs storage overnight for dogs. Have had informal talks with Susan Roth from LaBerge regarding the comprehensive plan. LaBerge informal talks there. Discussions with Ian in town situations. Oversaw the transition from Chuck Golden to Keith Hankel, which we appreciate. And then also Julianne Batista came before us offering Narcan training here at Town Hall. As it makes an offer, it looks like possibly there might be a date the end of May, but she's trying to work on that, and we'll keep everyone posted on that. Ian is not here tonight, so unfortunately he cannot give his report. We have worked back and forth on situations.
During the month of March, town clerk took in $54,756.90. Of that amount, $54,644.06 was turned over to the supervisor.
Thank you very much, sir.
Move that we approve it.
Thank you very much, David. I'll second. All those in favor of accepting the town clerk's March 2025 report?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Anyone abstaining? That is 5-6. Okay. We have reports in the various departments in our packet. We have the assessor's report, and I think Michelle is still upstairs working, but she has given us a substantial report, and just the only thing is that the county has requested that all data items and protections be completed by April 11th, which is tomorrow, which she is working on. Okay, next one up is the water manager's report. So we have it here in front of us. Chuck, for March. Thank you, sir.
Good evening, town board. This is the report from the water department for March of 2025. Average usage per day was 132,245.8 gallons. There was 38.75 gallons of sodium hypochlorite to sanitize that amount of water. Monthly coliform tests were all negative for the month. We did 4 coliform because we had to do 2 for the water main break. Dig safes really blew up this month. 8 dig safes this month. Most of it because of a detour that's going to go on. I'll let DJ give you the particulars on that, as well as some ditch cleaning that the state was going to do. Adam Borg finally caught up with DJ, and we got the GIS program loaded onto his computer and his phone. And we just got to do the same thing with Keith. So quarterly meter readings were taken on March 11th. There were 20, I think it was 24 readings were not recorded and have to be investigated. And I said in the report that these will be resolved by Keith Hankel, your new water manager. Keith's the current utility supervisor for the town of North Greenbush and has served the town of North Greenbush for 20 years. I can't think of a better person to take over. I think he's going to be a real asset to the town. I want to just say it's been a pleasure serving the town of Poestenkill. I felt like coming back home. I really miss this town. So thank you very much for giving me that opportunity.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir.
I just wanted to share a few thoughts because we've talked in recent months about whether or not there's a need for the water manager to be a full-time position. And I think at the last town board, some of the board members talked about the thought that it might be a full-time position. I don't personally think it is, but instead of just my opinion, I decided to do a little bit of research. So I'll share this with the town board. But what I did was I looked at all the other towns and municipalities in Rensselaer County that have a water district to see what their staffing levels were based on some common denominators. And so I thought that a good comparison would be the number of connections in the town, as well as the amount of daily water use. In my research, I realized that Troy is obviously the biggest water district in Rensselaer County. They have 13,000 connections, so it's not a very good apple. It's kind of like apples to avocados, not even apples to oranges. So I didn't include them in this, but what the synopsis of my research was that when you combine Brunswick, North Greenbush, which obviously Keith knows pretty well, East Greenbush, Skodak, Rensselaer, Schaghticoke, and Poestenkill, when you combine them all together and look at the number of employees, full-time employees, these are non-administrative, right? I didn't include administrative staff, and compare it apples to apples versus number of connections, number of gallons used per day. The average comes to be about one full-time employee to 888 connections, or one full-time employee to 325,000 gallons of daily use. Now, in the town of Poestenkill, we have 4 part-time employees, probably equates to about 2 full-time employees. So it's important to note also that many of these towns also do water and sewer together, so they're in charge of 2 different pipes. So when you look at our breakdown, it's 1 full-time employee to we are the smallest water district in Rensselaer County. We will still be the smallest water district in Rensselaer County, even with water district number 2. When you look at our breakdown, it's 1 full-time person to 240 connections versus 1 to 880, and it's 1 full-time person to about 62,000. Although this last month, this was off of 125, which is a few months ago. Chuck just mentioned that we're at 132. So I think it's an indication that there is not. I don't see a need for a full-time water manager. I think it looks like we're probably a little bit overstaffed if you compare our averages to the other towns, and even take the 2 other towns or municipalities that just do water. Those numbers even increase more. It's 1 full-time person to over 1,000 connections and 1 full-time person to 350,000 gallons per daily use. So I just wanted to share this information with you. I think it's helpful. I think it's an indication that like I said, we don't need a full-time position here. We probably actually are overstaffed. But I just wanted to share that with the town board and see if you have any questions.
I had a comment. This is great stuff. There's probably an economies of scale. Like, I think in order to, and I don't know, just looking at these, like if we had 1 person on the water connection, you'd still need a person. Like there's probably some, amount of people or labor that you need just to have a water system. And then as you add people, more houses and connections, you gain economies of scale. So like, Skodak well system, they have 625, it's a little bit more than what we have, and they still have about the same amount of people. So maybe look at Schaghticoke and see what they're doing.
Yeah, and that's just to note on that, Frank, they actually have and I know Tom Slater mentioned this to me a while ago, but it's actually a well
Oh, okay.
system, right? It's
Yeah.
not, they're not connected to East Greenwich anymore.
Okay.
So they're pulling
Yeah.
water from a well.
Yeah,
It's
but,
a different
yeah,
animal in a sense, but yeah, it's the closest comparison to us.
yeah. And but, Scotticoke is going with one person, maybe they're doing something different, but there's probably a minimum that you need to have just to operate the system. And then as you add connections, you're just amortizing the cost over more connections.
I believe we talked about it when the Water District 2 comes online, that it's gonna be a bit delayed, but I'd be interested in hearing what Chuck and Keith had to say about it.
I feel that there's many variables that aren't included in just the numbers. One of the biggest variables, we're at the end of the line. We have to be very concerned about THMs and HA5. So we have to flush the entire system twice a year. That takes a lot of manpower.
Thank you. I
What's your input?
respectfully have a different opinion, Eric. Tried sitting in with Chuck, and before that with Mr. Sansone. I question, number of full-time people too, no. I've been around on the weekends when calls are made, and have Rob available, or Brett in the mornings and so on. Is vital. And we have a maturing system that is starting to show signs of wear and situations. I respectfully disagree with you.
I appreciate that. I would say that we have the newest water district in the county. We have the smallest water district in the county, and we have the highest ratio of employees to connections of water usage.
Can I ask one question? Eric, you said we have 4 part-time employees?
Right.
Who are the 4? Because I believe we only have 3.
My impression, I could be off, but that might be a mistake. That's 3 is 3.
And I don't think you want to have one person doing it, because then that person's forever. You need to have a backup, and then, I don't know, I think if we're doing 3 part-time people, that's probably better than 1 full-time person. And then when the next water district gets hooked up, we'll just have to reevaluate.
Keith, would you like to say anything?
Like I said, I'm in charge of North Greenbush. That's
Right.
4,800 customers. I do 5 million gallons a day. So this is a smaller system for me. So I'm still getting the hang of everything. So I have talked to Chuck, and I have talked to Bill Bradley about this being a dead end line. So everything that comes through Troy, through Brunswick, all does end up here. So you guys know that they added orthophosphate to their lines. All that comes to the dead ends. So like Chuck said, Rick, definitely got to flush twice a year, because you got to get that orthophosphate out. Orthophosphate coats your lines so you don't have infrastructure failures. And it breaks all the rust and stuff like that off your main. So us being the dead end, it's all going to settle here at Poestenkill. So definitely got to flush twice a year to keep that down. And then that also reacts with your chlorine. So your THMs and everything are going to be all over the board probably for the next 2 years, because they just started adding it last year. So I'm having the same problem in North Greenbush. My dead ends are getting a lot of calls from my dead ends, stuff like that, because we have a lot of we're a dead end from Troy. So we're also doing a lot of flushing in our town. Like I've had to flush probably 2 or 3 weeks all winter. I had to go to my dead ends, flush them every single month to keep the sediment down, keep the ortho out of the system, and keep it at a normal, reasonable level. So probably in the future, maybe 2 more part-time versus 5 to 10 hours a week, maybe 10 to 20 hours a week for 2 part-time guys, only because, like I said, you have to flush twice. You're gonna have a bigger system, but it's all gonna depend on how everything falls through with what's coming from Brunswick to here, and how many people are gonna hook up to your new system. You're only gonna have 10 people hook up, and you can't make them hook up, but you have 100 possible customers coming in. So maybe 100 people hooked up, maybe 50 people hooked up. But you also have how many connections coming through Poestenkill slowly as people's wells die, they hook up. So you're gonna add more connections to your system as you go. So then your infrastructure will get older. So right now, you're probably on the borderline of where you need to be. But when you get to Water District 2, you might have to reevaluate possibly more personnel or make the time frame that they can work a little longer.
We had 41 hookup, new hookups.
Thank you,
last
Keith.
year.
I'm sorry, Charlie.
We had 41 hookups last year, coming from new construction as well as well failures and people deciding to hook up.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, that's helpful.
All right. Okay, next item up, building inspector's report. We have Tracy's report, he's back, and Chuck was gracious enough to cover for him while he was having a shoulder
Just
repair.
for me, let's see, I just jotted a few things here. 2 backfill inspections, 1 water line, it probably should have went under the water department. And 1 insulation inspection. I issued 2 permits, 1 roof for a re-roof and another basement renovation, and issued 1 stop work order for a stormwater violation.
Thank you, sir.
For what violation? Stormwater.
Okay, fuel control report. We have Bob's quick summary of what he had situation-wise. And last report is DJ's excellent report. Would you care to add anything to it, DJ?
Brush pickup is, like I said last month, the 21st to the 25th in April. And Chuck noted on it, they had locates for the detour route for the signage. He said last month, 351 is gonna be going under a hard closure here sometime this spring for a culvert replacement over on the Brunswick side. Well, we expect delays and detours with that. Garfield Road's a detour route for passenger cars, and all truck traffic is going down Pauling Avenue. Well, we Route 2 over Pauling Avenue and up 66.
That'd be interesting. Thank you very much, DJ.
Awesome.
Okay, now we come to payment of bills. David, please. Thank you, sir.
I move that we pay the highway bills of $38,948.02.
Second. All those in favor of paying the highway?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Anyone abstaining? 5-6-0.
I move that we pay water district number 1's bills of $3,023.53.
A second.
Thank you, Frank. All those in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed?
Sorry, I should have said aye, I'm sorry. With you guys.
5-7, please. Thank you very much.
I move that we pay the general bills of $87,544.81.
I'll second.
Thank you, Eric. All those in favor?
Do we have any corrections on that?
Yes, so I did the math and it's $843 less. The CDPH pay.
Okay, so I move that we pay $87,544.81 minus $843.
I'll second.
Thank you, David.
Thank you.
Thank you, Katie. Thank you, June.
And we already approved the expenditure of the ARPA funds, but I will say that we paid the bills in the ARPA funds of $8,515.98.
Thank you. Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Anyone abstaining? Public comment period. Please, sir.
Andy Case that with that, Poestenkill. You, sir. I think your comments about, wanting to cut jobs just to save a few bucks, I think is really short-sighted and kind of foolish, to be honest. You should invest in your town and not just cut people's jobs because it'll look better on a balance sheet, you know? We should have full-time employees. Hell, we should have more employees, making sure that our water is safe and drinkable for the foreseeable future. If I'm hearing that, our infrastructure is outdated, that's concerning to me, a taxpaying citizen, you know? We should ideally want more water districts, because that's just better for people's health, but that's my opinion.
I didn't say they've cut any jobs, but I appreciate your comments.
Okay, wait, Anthony, please. Okay. Thank you very much. Anyone else, public comment? Do we have a motion to adjourn?
It's too early.
Yeah, Trump is
So moved.
Okay. All those in favor of adjournment? Anyone opposed? Thank you very much, one and all, for coming out today.
Hearing on that, is that Thursday, the 17th?
I don't know if you've ever been out there.